Welcome back to the channel. If you are into rare coins, US mint history, or treasure hunting in your pocket change, this episode is for you. Today we are diving into the 1985D and 1995D United States 5-cent coins, commonly known as nickels. At first glance, these coins may not look like anything special, but with mint errors, collector demand, and rumors of ultra-rare issues tied to what some call distributions, there's more value in these coins than meets the eye. Let's get started. Let's start with the basics. The 1985D Jefferson nickel was minted in Denver, as denoted by the D mint mark just beside Thomas Jefferson's bust on the obverse front of the coin. This coin is part of the long-running Jefferson nickel series, which began in 1938 and continued until the design was revised in 2004. Composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel and weighing exactly 5 grams. The 1985D saw a substantial mintage of over 459 million coins. That makes it fairly common on the surface, but as with many things in numismatics, it's not just about how many were made, it's about how they were made, and in the case of the 1985D, there's a whole world of errors, varieties, and condition rarities that make it much more than just pocket change. Understanding how these varieties came to be requires a look at the minting process itself. Each coin starts with a blank planchette, which is struck by dies that have been engraved. With the design over time, these dies can wear out, crack, or be improperly maintained. In a production run as large as 459 million, the US Mint had to replace dies frequently, which sometimes led to minor design differences. These differences can be subtle. Think of a slightly off-center D, a thicker rim, or even doubling in the letters. What incredible about the 1985D series is that over distinct die varieties and minor minting anomalies have been documented by specialists. Some show die cracks across Jefferson's face, others reveal doubling in E pluribus unum on the reverse. These are not just curiosities, they are collectible traits, and some fetch big money depending on grade and rarity. Of course, not all 1985D nickels are valuable condition. Is everything the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and one worth $50 can often be determined under a microscope. Coins are graded on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor 1p1 to mint state. Most 1985D nickels in circulation hover around very fine to extremely fine, and they are only worth face value, but in uncirculated grades particularly and higher, their value starts to climb. According to PCGS, a perfectly preserved specimen with full steps on Monticello, a sign of a strong strike, can fetch upwards of $150 to $300, sometimes more in auction, and that's before you factor in rare varieties or errors. Let's talk about the elusive full steps designation, a key feature that can drastically increase a coin's value. On the reverse of the Jefferson nickel, the Monticello building features a set of steps. For a coin to earn the full steps FS designation, every one of those steps must be clearly defined and uninterrupted. This requires a perfectly aligned and fresh die strike, meaning only a small fraction of nickels meet this high standard. Many 1985D nickels were poorly struck due to die fatigue and high-speed minting, so finding one with full steps in or higher is very rare, and collectors will pay a premium. In fact, some full steps coins have sold for over $1,000 depending on condition and demand. Now for the real fun, error coins and die varieties. The 1985D nickel has a slew of them. Some examples include off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, and double die obverses, DDO, or reverses, DDR. One popular die variety has a clear doubling on the letters States of America on the reverse. Another has a noticeable die crack running diagonally across Jefferson's cheek, which collectors have nicknamed the Scarface variety. These might not be officially recognized by PCGS or NGC yet, but that does not stop them from commanding interest and premiums in the collector-to-collector marketplace. If you want to learn more about these varieties, we will be covering them in future uploads, so make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Let's discuss value trends. While the average circulated 1985D nickel still trades for 5 cents, select high-grade examples and rare varieties have seen a dramatic increase in interest over the past decade. According to auction records, heritage auctions and eBay listings have shown growing demand, especially among registry set collectors looking to complete their Jefferson nickel sets with full steps examples. A recent sale of a 1985D netted $1,560 at auction, mainly due to its Exceptional strike and luster if you are holding a few uncirculated rolls of 1985D nickels or just happen to find a gem in a bank bag. You might be sitting on a low-key treasure. So how can you get started in hunting for valuable 1985D nickels? First, grab a 10x magnifying loupe or a digital microscope. Look closely at the Monticello steps, Jefferson's face and the lettering. Next, make sure to store promising finds in holders flips or airtight capsules to avoid wear, and if you believe you have found a high-grade or error specimen, consider submitting it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC, but only if it's in exceptional condition or has a confirmed error. Do not forget to photograph your find in natural light and keep detailed records. And if you are unsure about your coin, hop into coin forums or comment down below. We love helping new collectors. If you have made it this far, chances are you are as obsessed with coin hunting as we are, and guess what? This video is just the beginning. Over the next few weeks, we are launching a full series dedicated to the known mint varieties of the 1985D Jefferson nickel. Each episode will break down one variety in depth with macro photos, value charts, and expert commentary. So if you are looking to build out your collection, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Do not just collect coins, understand them, treasure them, and share them. To wrap it up, the 1985D nickel is a surprisingly rich target for collectors of all levels. Whether you're just getting started with coin collecting or you are a seasoned numismatist chasing registry quality nickels, this coin has something for you. It might look like just another piece of change, but under scrutiny it reveals stories of the mint, the metal, and the people who made it. So check your pockets, your drawers, and your inherited jars of coins. There might be a treasure hiding in plain sight. And remember, in coin collecting, knowledge is always more valuable than luck. So keep learning, stay curious, and keep stacking those nickels. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Next up, the 1995D Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the two mints primarily responsible for circulating nickels in the 1990s. It carries the D mint mark to the right of Thomas Jefferson's bust on the obverse. By this time, the nickel had already been using the classic Jefferson design for nearly 6 decades. The composition was the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel, and the weight was 5.00 grams over 734 million. Of these coins were minted that S-right 750 million nickels, but as we all know, in numismatics, quantity does not always equal quality. In fact, mass production often leads to a higher number of striking errors, die fatigue, and transitional anomalies, which makes the 1995D especially intriguing for collectors. While the coin may seem common, hidden gems lie in its details, waiting for sharp-eyed hobbyists like you to find them. To truly appreciate the value of the 1995D nickel, it helps to understand how these coins were produced and why so many varieties emerged. With such high production volume, mint workers were under pressure to maintain speed. Over-precision dies wore out quickly, some were reused beyond their optimal lifespan, and in some cases mismatched die pairs were installed without inspection. These manufacturing realities led to a wave of issues: doubled dies, re-punched mint marks, die cracks, die clashes, weak strikes, and even rotated dies. Over time, researchers and collectors have documented more than distinct die varieties and error types for this specific year and mint. Some are subtle, visible only under magnification, while others eye-popping and clearly visible to the naked eye. Either way, they all tell a story and add value to what would otherwise be an ordinary coin. One of the most critical factors determining value is grade. Most 1995D nickels you find in circulation will fall into grades like VF20 very fine or EF40 extremely fine, and those are typically worth face value, unless they have errors. But things change dramatically as you move into uncirculated grades, especially mint state. In fact, a 1995D nickel with full steps designation, where all 6 steps of Monticello on the reverse are clearly visible, is particularly scarce. Very few coins from this year, especially from Denver, were struck with enough pressure and precision to earn that FS full steps status. A graded nickel can fetch between $100 and $400 at auction, and get this, only a handful of examples have ever achieved a grade of or higher with full steps, which makes them elite tier collectibles. If you think you have one, you may be holding hundreds of dollars in your fingers. Let's go deeper into the full steps designation, because this is where Your average-looking nickel could become a numismatic gold mine. On the back of the Jefferson nickel, the Monticello building includes a staircase beneath the columns. For a coin to qualify as full steps, these lines must be fully struck and separated into 5 or 6 distinct uninterrupted steps. It may sound simple, but it's actually rare, especially in coins struck at the Denver Mint, where overused dies and hurried striking reduced overall sharpness. For the 1995 D, full steps examples are extremely difficult to find, and that drives their price. If you are lucky enough to have a PCGS graded 1995 D nickel, you could be looking at a value north of $1,500 depending on market conditions. These coins are rare not because of mintage numbers but because of strike quality, which is why collectors pay a premium. Now let us discuss what truly makes the 1995 D nickel a collector's dream. Die varieties and mint errors more than have been identified and catalogued by independent numismatists and error specialists. These include doubled die obverses DDO, where the word Liberty appears, doubled re-punched mint marks RPMs, where the D appears stamped more than once in slightly different locations, die cracks that form dramatic lines across Jefferson's portrait clash dies, where design elements from the reverse show up on the obverse and vice versa, and broad strikes off center strikes, cut breaks, and more. Some of these command $20 to $200, while more dramatic or unclassified errors can go for far higher. We will be diving into each of these varieties in a future series, so again subscribe and ring the bell, because each one of these variants could be the key to finding a hidden gem in your pocket change. Let's talk about the real-world sales and auction highlights. While common 1995 D nickels are traded in bulk high-grade examples, and error coins have recently drawn attention from both collectors and dealers, a stunning 1995 D with full steps sold on Heritage auctions for just over $1,300 in 2023. On eBay, verified error coins like off-center strikes and re-punched mint marks are fetched between $30 to $150 depending on condition and rarity. More obscure varieties, such as those involving rotated dies or dramatic die clashes, are still emerging into the collector market. That means this coin still has discovery potential, which is the dream of every coin hunter. If you are lucky enough to cherry-pick one at a show or out of a roll, you could easily turn 5 cents into $100. If you are ready to start hunting for these nickels, here's what to do. Get a decent magnifying loupe 10x or stronger, or use a digital microscope for easier viewing. Start with rolls from banks or your own coin jar and look closely at the obverse check, Liberty Indiana God We Trust, and the D-mint mark for doubling or punching. Flip the coin and examine Monticello S steps. Once you find something promising, store it in a cardboard, flip a coin capsule or an airtight slab if it's worthy, and document everything. Keep a log with grades, condition notes, and photos if you think your find is significant. Submit it to PCGS NGC or ANAX for professional grading. It costs money, but a certified grade adds serious credibility and value if you plan to sell or showcase. Here's where it gets exciting. We are officially launching a part series covering the top varieties and errors of the 1995 D Jefferson nickel. We will show detailed macro photos explaining identification techniques, compare market prices, and even interview experts from the coin community. So if you are passionate about collecting or just curious about whether your change has value, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring the notification bell so you do not miss an episode. We are building a full database for everyday collectors, and every view, like, and comment helps us grow this amazing hobby. Share your finds in the comments below. We might even feature your coin in a future video. To wrap things up, the 1995 D 5-cent coin is much more than spare change. It's a playground for error hunters, a challenge for grade chasers, and a mystery still unfolding with each variety discovery. While it's not as flashy as gold or silver, the humble nickel teaches us patience, precision, and the joy of searching. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone just starting to explore the world of coins, there's something deeply satisfying about identifying a rare die clash or a perfect full step strike that others overlooked. So keep looking, keep learning, and keep collecting, because every coin tells a story, and sometimes it's worth far more than what is stamped on its face. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting.